Welcome to the Roaming Yeti podcast, where we share stories and tips to inspire you to roam your neighborhood and the world. I'm your host and head Yeti, Beth Scalacci. In today's episode, I speak with Nicole Hutchison about holiday markets in Germany. Nicole was born and raised in and throughout Germany, and she has family that remains in Germany to this day, so her and her husband make annual trips each year to visit family and check out the different Christmas markets. Are you ready? Let's roam. Welcome back, everyone, to the Roaming Yeti podcast. Today, I am joined by Nicole, who is going to talk Christmas, holiday, European markets. I'm just throwing all the words around. I'm not sure what the right ones are. So, Nicole, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Very excited.
We've been trying to have this conversation for a while, so I'm very happy it's happening. Can you describe, okay, first of all, is it a Christmas market, a holiday market? What do they call it in Europe?
It is a Christmas market
Okay.
for sure. They do, depending on this place you have, some of them start as early as the end of Thanksgiving for us, end of November for them.
Okay.
Some of the bigger cities will go all the way through New Year's. So it is a Christmas and or holiday market, I suppose. But yes, they normally go by a Christmas market.
And how do you describe to someone who's not familiar with it?
So this is the best part. I've actually been very excited about this question. I hate to say magical because I feel like that sounds so corny, but they really are. Germans do Christmas right. I mean, their lights are always amazing. Christmas markets are always amazing. If you ever feel the need to get into that Christmas spirit, getting over to Germany and going to those Christmas markets will be the way to go. It's always beautifully lit. There's always a gorgeous Christmas tree. The smells are amazing. The food is phenomenal, and it's just the way to go.
I think magical is the correct word there.
Yes. Quickly, magical would be a good word to use. There you go.
So in Germany, do you have a favorite city in Germany that you guys usually attend, or?
I was born in Augsburg. My dad was in the military. He was born in Augsburg. We spent a little bit of time over in the States, and then we came to Berlin when I was 8. So Berlin will always have a special place in my heart because I ended up doing the majority of my elementary and high school years in Berlin. So Berlin for sure has my heart. It is a big city, so it's not just the one Christmas markets. They have a lot of little ones,
Okay.
as well as some very large ones as well. But I mean, Nuremberg has also got one of the biggest markets in Germany, and you got to get to Munich if you're going to go to Nuremberg. It's right, might as well right there. And then if you're that close, you might as well hit Garmisch. I mean, it's a whole process. But Berlin will always be my special little place.
Sounds like you almost have to road trip through the country for markets.
Yes.
So if you've been
sorry, go ahead.
No, so you've been going since elementary school?
Yeah. Seen them all. Been the majority of all the big ones as well as all the little ones. Like I said earlier, so your bigger cities, so we've got Berlin, it's obviously a very large city. Each of the little kind of sections, so I guess, for example, in Maryland, each of the little counties would have a Frederick Christmas market, or you could have, or even Middletown could be like, well, Middletown's going to have a little market as well, something like that, where you obviously the larger the area, the bigger the Christmas market will be. But you'll still have these little dwarfs that will have in their little city center, which usually is right by their local church. They'll have a couple little stands that'll be set up there, and the little local fire department will be selling beers, and the local ladies club or garden club will be selling the Glühwein, and people will have a little verse station. And during the holidays, it might be just a couple weekends, and everybody will get together and just have a couple beers, have some Glühwein, and have a currywurst or two.
I mean, that sounds, again, magical.
It's magical.
Do you remember, have memories of like some of your first trips as a kid?
Yes. Yeah. So Berlin, one of the first ones we ever went to was Berlin at the Kudamm in downtown, which is the big city center, downtown Berlin. And I remember going to that at a very early age. a lot has changed since then. The wall was up, which will give you a rough idea of how old I am. The wall was still up at that point. So, but yeah, I mean, the smells have not changed. It's still the traditions that are there. You can still buy your nutcrackers and your Christmas ornaments and the, historically German Christmas food that will always be there, but they, certain places will always put that new twist on it. Downtown Berlin in the kind of the Stadtmitte center, so the city center, they've got the Gedankenmarkt, which is not far from Potsdam area. They've got a beautiful Christmas market. It's my favorite Christmas market in Berlin. It's right at their little town center. They've got a disco ball that hangs out at the bottom of the thing, and I mean, they've got a big moose head when you first walk in, and it's just, they've got little pop-up restaurants for like the newest, latest, and greatest around. And, they kind of try to tie in that modern to the very traditional, which is also very nice.
Yeah, that's I figured it was just mainly traditional, so it's neat to hear that they're adding.
No, they do.
Doing
Moe and Chandon had a booth at one of the ones we went to last year, which we spent a lot of time at. Because I mean, who doesn't love drinking champagne at a Christmas market, honestly? So, but they also had a whole restaurant there where you could sit down and everything was kind of under this little tent. But yeah, I mean, it just depends on what size you're going to. You can really go from these huge markets that open at 5 at night and you pay a euro or two, 1 or 2 euros to get in. And then you can sit there until, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, just walking around, doing a little bit of shopping, meeting up with friends, sitting down, eating dinner, walking around, eating dinner, drinking some glühwein, drinking some beer, walking and getting some more food. It's all very easy to do. So do enough walking where you try to burn it off as well.
There you go. See, then you have negative, balance out those calories for sure.
Yes, negative calories.
I like anything that's negative calories.
Yeah.
So if you're a first timer, like what do you need to know when you're
so the first timer when you're over there, what city you're going to be in?
Okay.
Obviously, that's going to start. Like I said, a lot of the bigger cities, Munich and Nuremberg and Frankfurt and Heidelberg and Berlin, mostly start theirs. We have found over the past several years that we try to travel on Thanksgiving Day. We find the best deals out of the US into Frankfurt we've flown on Delta for $500 round trip.
Wow.
For per person. So, it's worth it getting out there or Thanksgiving Day, and the Christmas markets are opening the next day or around that time, and we get to do that. But to start off, you start off with what city you're going to go to first. The traveling, obviously the transportation in Europe is so easy to get to. If you're going to be in Heidelberg, it's going to be real easy to get to Munich. If you're going to be in Munich, it's going to be real easy to get to Nuremberg. If you're back up in Heidelberg, it'd be really easy to get to Frankfurt again. So, those are all train stops away. I know there are several companies that I've seen online that will actually do the overseas tours for the Christmas markets. They're not cheap, but if you got 10 days, some time, a lot of these will do some of the inner countries as well. So you'll hit the Germany markets, hit some of the ones down in Italy, which are also supposed to be amazing. I've not been to those yet, but they're 100% on the list.
Yet.
So yeah, any of the tours, but you can always just Google any of the Christmas markets from the local area you're going to be in and see. They will give you the dates and times and the locations. They'll even give you the U-Bahn stops or the bus stops you need to be at.
Okay.
But 9 times out of 10, if you're in a major city and you're at the city Stadt, which is the city center, you're going to see where the Christmas market is. You really cannot miss it.
Right.
The stands are around. All you can do is smell it. It's magical.
I feel like it was at Sesame Street that had like the word of the day.
There you go. That would be it. Yeah.
We have the word of the episode. And is it, I'm coming with the dumb questions. Does it cost to get in? Is it free to get in?
So again, it depends. Some of the bigger ones that are in like the larger city Stadts, they will have 1 or 2 euro entry to get in. $1 or $2, $3 tops, nothing crazy. If you're on but yeah, normally the smaller ones, it's just a free entry. You walk right into the city center and you start walking around at no charge.
And how much time, you know, do you usually spend there? Is it a day? Are you committing a day to it? I see the head, yes.
Yeah, it can be for sure on some of the larger ones. We've done Munich and Nuremberg. And Nuremberg is one of the most highly anticipated Christmas markets in Germany. And you can easily spend a full day just kind of walking around there and seeing all the different booths with all the different crafts and the Christmas ornaments. And again, back to the eating and the drinking. I see how we're repeating myself over and over again, but it is very easy to do when you're there. And, with that time in Germany is kind of so relaxed and it's not a lot of hustle. So people are just kind of leisurely rolling around and strolling and doing their thing. And, you're dressed warm and there's, you want a heating stuff. There's heating stuff around and you just take your time and do your thing. There's literally no rush.
So we're talking that we're eating and drinking. What are we eating and drinking?
Weird, all of it.
All
just
of it.
Everything.
All the things.
All the things. So obviously the beer in Germany is going to be amazing. You're going to be able to get plenty of that. My favorite is called Glühwein, which is a warm mulled, I think what do they call it in the States?
Mold, I think.
Mold?
I know how to spell it. I don't know how to say it.
There you go. Whatever that mulled wine is,
yep.
The warm wine, they serve it in two different ways. One is red, one is white. I prefer white, but it is, again, your call. It's got your clove and your anise and your oranges and all that kind of stuff in it. That is my most favorite. The cool thing about this, and this is what I find one of my collectibles to be when we go over, is each of the Christmas markets will have their own Glühwein mug. Those have become my collector's items. I take them out every Christmas, put them by the coffee maker, and it has usually the city. It will normally have the year that's on there. Some of them are clear. Some of them are shaped as little boots. Some of them have the cityscape on it. They're just all very different. So normally when you go up to get your Glühwein, it'll be like a €1 deposit for the cup. And if you don't want to keep it, you give it back. Or if you do want to keep it, or you want to refill your Glühwein, then you just bring it up again and pay for the Glühwein. I like to keep them. I also like to give them out as gifts when I get home, especially my friends, when I know that they grew up in Nuremberg or they really liked being in Garmisch, and I'll save that for them. Probably at this point, I am probably up to 20 or 30 Glühwein cups easily, because I just can't play favorites. They're all just as cute as the other ones are. And it's gotten to the point now where when we go over, I actually bring a little bit of bubble wrap with me so I can wrap these Glühwein cups back in with me when we go back over to the States. So, okay, so we're past the Glühwein thing. They also have the raclettes, which are my favorite because you can, of course, get plenty of fresh bread there. And who doesn't love fresh bread with a little bit of warm cheese on the top of it? And then if you want a little schenkel or a little ham or zwiebeln, onions, you can get that on top. And again, none of the meals are ever super filling. It's just enough to have a couple bites here and there. And then, you can have your raclette. You can have your currywurst, which is a wurst with your ketchup and your curry sauce on top of it. Also excellent choice. Plenty of pommes frites. If I may suggest having it with mayo. I know it sounds gross. It's not everybody's gig, but the German mayo hits a little bit different than the stateside mayo does. And just a German mayo with a French fry is the way to go. You can get fresh mushrooms over there that are sauteed. You can get, this is actually the first time I ever saw actual chestnuts roasting on an open fire was actually in Germany. They legit have a whole chestnut thing over there. But of course, depending on what area you're in, if you're over down by the Rhine, they've got plenty of, fresh wine for you to have down there. The wine sellers will come out and have a little booth there as well. But yeah, and then of course, the desserts, that's a whole nother thing. You can get all those cute little gingerbread hearts that you always see with a little frosting. and you can get it to say whatever, and you can bring that back as gifts. My favorite is similar to candy apples. They have candy grapes over there.
Oh.
And listen, a candy grape is the way to go. It is the jam. Now, be careful because you will stab yourself in the back of the throat if you're not careful. You got to be very specific when you take the grapes off, but it's like a row of 5, and a candied grape is the way to go. And I don't know if because the grapes are a little bit better over there with all the winemaking, but it's always just delicious.
And
So
it's like the sugar
it's just like a
coating
candied
on it.
apple, but grapes on a skewer. And then, but yeah, I mean, those are all my favorite things right there. The glühwein, currywurst, hummus, mint mayo, my candied covered grapes, and then of course, whatever else our specialty is going to be in the area. You can get a lot of potato pancakes around, things like that. A lot of just your regular old bratwursts. But the bread is always fresh and it's always delicious. So go over with an appetite. Do not eat before you go to a Christmas market. Like, do not.
Go hungry, eat first, then hit the beer and wine.
Correct. So get a little something in your belly.
Have a little
bratwurst or a little currywurst. Then you got to get your little glühwein or your beer, and then you can keep moseying around and just keep filling up your glühwein as you're walking around.
That is solid advice for anywhere, actually.
Take it from someone who knows very well.
We have never learned the lessons the hard way here, right?
Correct. Never. Not once.
So what other kind of cool shopping, like what I love the glasses idea and stuff, like, but what other are really great souvenirs to shop for and look for?
The great time to get your Christmas ornaments. If you're into the beautiful blown glass Christmas ornaments, this is where you're going to find them. Kathy Kaffel, somebody or other, she's a very famous German Christmas ornament person. She makes these beautiful glass ornaments, and she's got them again for each city you go to. You can always find those around. There's a lot of wood carving ornaments you can find. Your nutcrackers, yes, can be a hit or miss. I do like to look up underneath to see where they've been made because, they're trying to do a little sleight of hand there for some of them. So if they look cheap, I'm like, I'll find them somewhere else. But again, your nutcrackers, what they call a smoker, which is a nice little wooden guy that you can put a little incense inside and you burn him. And then he's got a little smoke that usually comes out of his little mouth. It looks like he's got a pipe smoking. I love to get the porcelain ornaments over there for the cities that we travel to. Like I said, there's a lot of wood carved ornaments over there that you can find. They have these beautiful light up in Germany. It's very popular to have lights in your window that look like candles. They do these beautiful kind of cityscapes you put in your window and you can light up. Not cheap. I finally talked myself into buying one a few years ago because I could finally get it into 110 and they would ship it over to me. But it is by far, it's like almost like a Christmas pyramid type of thing that lights up, and it's beautiful and well worth the cost to see how lovely it is in the winter. So, but yeah, so your gifts galore. You're gonna have a lot of knitted stuff. You'll be able to buy your hats and your gloves and your scarves and a lot of locals, depending on where you are, more leather goods, more than not. A lot of chocolate. A lot of gummies. I mean, again, you're really not going without the food or the eating. But there are always plenty of gift ideas, regardless of where you go to. There will be some sort of gift, something or other there, which is always nice to take back, and usually very affordable.
Yeah, that's nice to know. So most of the things are handmade by some of, at least pretty much local artisans.
And at the smaller ones, you'll find more local artisans. At the bigger ones, you'll find a little bit more of the niche stuff that you might be able to find other places. But yeah, you'll still be able to find those one-of-a-kind items for sure. Warmest pair of slippers I ever got that I've ever owned, I bought at a Christmas market overseas. And they're amazing.
Do you take an extra suitcase with you?
Yes.
Yes.
Also
okay.
So, not to plug any specific brand, but there is a brand that folds very nicely into my suitcase, and I literally we always take everything extra over with us because we're always just there's so much to get while you're there. Not to mention the coffee we need to bring home. So,
Very.
yeah,
So there's specific coffee you bring home, or is that just German coffee? Or
it's German coffee
okay,
specifically. Yes.
because beer, wine, and coffee pretty much
And then there's
just
also, yeah. So then my dad
feels.
also lives very close to not a glue vine place, but oh God, a schnapps place. So we always
Mm.
bring back fresh schnapps, which you can also get at these places, but that's usually after the beer and wine. It's for your digestion. That's
It's
what
a
they say.
nightcap.
The schnapps is for your digestion. It helps.
Do you have a favorite purchase from over the years that you've brought home?
Well, again, I'm plugging those slippers because those slippers are still amazing. Um, but I do like just the glue vine glasses. They're just a nice reminder of where we've traveled to, what years we were there, um, which ones we've been to. And it's just nice to have out for the holidays. But again, there's so many things, and it just depends. We always buy ornaments when we go over there as well. We buy them for friends and family. In fact, I have one sitting right here, which I know nobody will be able to see, but one of my little favorite ones from Berlin is right
Oh,
there, which I
cute.
love.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get all your Christmas shopping done for friends and family at these things. Let's put it that way.
And your own shopping probably.
And correct,
Like
correct.
be like, this is what you're getting me for Christmas. Here you go.
Also correct. That's happened many times.
Um, I Julia had to add a question because she we sort of got into this thing when we were in Paris looking. What is the weirdest thing you have found to purchase as a souvenir?
I didn't purchase anything at this specific place. But to be fair, we were in Berlin, so that says a lot because Berlin can get a little quirky on the same thing. It definitely was its own little S&M booth. Did not purchase anything there per se, but could have could have could have if we needed to. Right next to it, I do love. They always, which I thought was ironic, they had all these chocolate tools. So all these handmade chocolatiers had come in and made all these tools that were actually movable, hammers and screwdrivers and everything made out of chocolate. But I always worry about those breaking on the way home.
Right.
But yeah, I'm much more of a traditionalist when it comes to Christmas markets. I don't need the S&M, and I don't need any chocolate tools.
There you
So
go.
yeah,
That's probably good advice for your
but it was
shopping.
handmade leather, and it was all beautifully crafted. That I will say.
There you go. I'm sure you didn't want to send TSA into a complete shock.
I don't need the note, but any of that in my bag. Thank you very much.
Get a little extra note in your suitcase.
We know what you did, lady.
Um, so I mean it's winter and it's Germany.
Yep.
What suggestions on what to wear when there?
It's going to be cold. That I can promise you. You're gonna need a jacket. You might need an umbrella. Definitely going to need a hat. You're going to need gloves. Uh, I I always travel with the fingerless gloves that kind of go over my hands because, especially at the Christmas markets, um, because it's a lot of, you're grabbing food or you need to, pick something up to look at it. So I always like the gloves that kind of go over on and off my fingers at that time. I know it's just one of those random things, but I always take those at the Christmas markets. Obviously, a comfortable pair of walking boots that are going to keep you really warm. I wouldn't bother with tennis shoes at that time of the year. Definitely a scarf and definitely with the layers for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't rain very often. Umbrella wouldn't hurt either. Um, you might get some snow, but it's going to be cold.
But
That
snow makes it more magical.
listen, it really does. And that's when you get down south a little bit more. It's really quite pretty down there. But yeah, it's just layer and warm, comfy, walkable boots.
Do the markets get crowded?
Yes.
Yes.
And they do. It's a hit or miss. I mean, listen, there's never been a market we've been to where we've been kind of back to back people.
Hmm.
But they get crowded on the weekends. They get crowded more so than on the weekdays. So of course, if you're going to travel or if you're going to go to any of these during the weekdays, is really the way to go, because you're still going to have the families, the traditional German families that want to come out and experience that kind of stuff on the weekends. But it's never been so much to where we were like, oh, we're never coming back. This is insane. And I hate a crowd. So if there's always just been enough space to where we've never felt too much, but you can definitely tell they're busy and they're bustling for sure.
Sure.
So
Is there a market that you haven't been to that you really want to get to?
there's a couple of them. Obviously, like I mentioned before, several down in Italy that I want to hit. I believe that there's one out in Dresden that's supposed to be amazing.
Mm.
The former East. Again, how old do I sound when I'm like former East Germany? Out in that area, I have not gone to. We would like to visit here shortly, and those are going to be our next trips. The Dresden area, again, it's supposed to be beautiful. That's the one on my list. We've not been to the Cologne one, which is supposed to be beautiful also. And then with us moving to England this year, we're obviously going to have to hit all the markets in England. So,
Then
and then probably all the ones in France.
I was gonna say you have to take the train over to.
Just all of them at this point. I mean, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So,
Right. It's, I mean, it's good. It's just like the bucket list of markets. I like it.
Christmas markets. That's
Yeah,
correct. So,
it's a good plan. I mean, is there anything uh, you've covered so much and stuff? Is there anything else that I'm not asking that I should be asking?
no,
Uh,
no, and I feel like I've just been blathering on. I'm like, oh, no, just go really take it in. I mean, just be ready to like, each of them are all so different. And, if you hit a bunch of them, let's say you hit 5 Christmas markets, yes, you're going to see a few of the same things, but 9 times out of 10, it will all be very different.
mhm.
They're all normally by the one in Nuremberg is right by the city center. And I mean, the one in Munich is, I mean, you just can't make these views up.
Right.
These buildings that have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years that you're just sitting next to under these beautiful lights that they have kind of put up all over. Not to mention probably the biggest Christmas tree aside from Rockefeller that they just have randomly sitting in the middle of this Christmas market, decorated beautifully. And again, they'll have the schools come out and they'll do Christmas shows and stuff like that. So there's always kind of entertainment out there as well. Like the one we go to in Berlin's got a DJ on Friday nights. Why wouldn't they? Because it's Berlin, you know. But it's just they're all going to be individual and they're all going to bring their own sort of special magic. But if you just get to one, you don't have to go to them all. It's not for everybody. But if you can, just for sure, try to hit Germany for the holidays at least once.
Definitely.
But like I said, early December, Thanksgiving time works great as
Yeah.
well. The flights are normally pretty cheap and you're not kind of spending that money to get over around the holidays. And you can still get a hotel room at a decent rate. And again, if you check Delta and you're flying out of a major airline, Delta, American usually do pretty good deals right into Frankfurt.
Yeah, that's great to know.
Yeah.
So you mentioned gummies. Do you have a favorite gummy? This is a thing in our family, so I have
Okay.
to ask.
So I am not at all particular on my gummies at all. Like
Okay.
I will eat the bear, I will eat the cokes, I will eat the cherries, I will eat the frogs, I'll eat the eggs, I'll eat the strawberries. It doesn't even matter. If you put a gummy in front of me, it's going to get eaten one way or the other. So no, I am not particular at
Okay.
all.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we have those discussions here all the time because when we happen upon them, we all sort of my husband hates them, and then Julia and I have our favorites. I know.
Blasphemy in this house. What?
It must not be
No.
an Italian thing. I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing too. You get over to Germany, there's all these gummies that you've never seen over here stateside. There's a lot more of the sour stuff over there, and you just again at these Christmas markets, you see these big kind of candy bag wholesaler type of things, and you can really go a little crazy over there. Like I said, if you just keep walking, you burn all that stuff off as you're going. That's what I tell myself every year. So
I tell myself that all the time. And I spent a whole trip going to Paris going, oh, we're walking. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. My pants aren't tighter. I'm fine.
One more croissant is fine.
Yes. But this one will be with chocolate.
Yes. Well, they were all chocolate. That's how much we were walking. Um, well, this has been great information. The markets are Christmas markets are something that, I've wanted to do, and now I'm even more more excited about putting that on an itinerary at some point in time. Um, but I have a few what I call sort of my pop quiz questions here that they're easy and fun. I hope they're fun.
Okay. All right.
First one, what is your favorite road trip snack?
Now we normally eat. Or normally eat pretty healthy at the house, and I say this as I just gave you a full dissertation on my favorite bag of gummies, which is why we wait till we travel so we eat well. Road trip snack. I am going to be probably I need a king size of Starburst, very similar to the gummy, but I like my Starburst. And if we're going salty, I'm going to go for some barbecue Pringles.
Gotcha. Is there a favorite color of Starburst?
I don't like to be super picky, but it obviously goes pink, red, orange, and then yellow.
Okay. Oh, I love it. This one's because I know you're moving, but it's still, what is your next planned trip?
Well, ironically, we do have 2 more planned trips in the 90 days before we move to England.
Oh, okay.
So our next planned trip is our daughter's 21st birthday. She has decided that she would like to have that in New Orleans, and heaven forbid, I'm not the mother that brings that to fruition. So in approximately, I don't know, however many weeks, we'll be heading to New Orleans for my daughter's 21st birthday.
I mean, you can't deny her that
Correct.
request.
You can't ask this mama, you want to spend your 21st in New Orleans? Okay.
Sure.
One more last trip with all the red beans and rice? You got it. So.
Do you have a dream trip, a bucket list trip?
Oh, okay. We've got quite a few on the bucket list. We are dying to get to Croatia. We would also like to get to the Azores. And then, I mean, I wouldn't say dream so much. Yeah, Croatia's my jam right now, and then Azores are the other place. Again, I was very fortunate to grow up in Germany. I saw most of Europe before I had graduated from high school. So yeah, I mean, I would really, really like to do a cruise of the Tahitian Islands, Bali. I'm really a big fan of hitting as many places as I can. So dream would probably be a cruise. Australia, Tahiti, Bali, all those kind of places.
Nice.
But right now we're looking at the Azores and we're looking at Croatia.
Okay. Do you have a favorite trip that you've taken in your lifetime?
I mean, I just like to travel. I can't, it's like the Goonies.
All of them.
I can't pick one. As long as I have a suitcase in my hand, then I don't really care where we're going, as long as I get to see something new. So.
Do you have a more memorable one?
I mean, I just love traveling with my husband. And I know that sounds really corny, but we always just have a good time together. So I just look forward to traveling. I don't care if it's a road trip and we're going to Biloxi for the weekend to go to the casino, or if we're jumping on a plane to go over to Germany for the holidays. Like, I just like to have that suitcase in one hand and my husband in the other.
There you go. Just like to be out of the house.
Also correct. Yes, because I don't leave my house unless I'm traveling. Let's be honest.
Exactly. All right, so this is an important question. At least I think. I like to ask people this. Who is on your travel playlist?
Oh, well.
I know I've seen your Instagram stories, so I know you are a road trip singer. So yes.
So I do actually utilize that time to read a lot.
Okay.
Because it is, when I'm on a plane, it is normally my quiet time, and it's all I can do to get to sleep because I'm so excited to get there. Right. All I can do to get to sleep is read a little bit. I don't know if you know this about me. I'm a little excitable. So
no. That's why we love you, Nicole. Come on.
go back to some 80s and some early 90s. I mean, you just can't go wrong with that. So anything I can dance to. I'm going to need some Stevie Wonder. I'm obviously going to need some Billy Joel. I'm going to need some Hall & Oates, 100%. And then we're going to have to throw a little bit of Janet Jackson, a little bit of Salt and Pepper, that early 90s genre right there.
Yep.
Shout out to my New Kids on the Block, always on my list. A little Rick Astley. I mean, just that. Those are my lists right there.
No, it's so interesting because pretty much everyone I've asked the question to, like, we all revert back to music growing up. Like,
yeah.
It's everyone, that's what they do, is that's their answer, is their like sort of high school, college days music.
And that was exactly it. Like, you can throw a little Pearl Jam and Nirvana in there when I'm really like ready to hit the high note. But yeah, Janet will get me dancing all day. So again, you can't go wrong with Stevie Wonder or Billy Joel or Hall & Oates. And if you say that's not true, then fight me, because I will fight that because they're wrong.
I'm not gonna argue that point with you at all. I am in total agreement with it. This has been so much fun and such good information, and I'm hoping people hear this, and I'm gonna have this is coming out in July, so people will have time to book those trips. I didn't want to do it in December when people were like, oh, it's too late.
Would have been nice to know last year.
Yeah. Thanks, Beth. I don't always plan ahead, but when I do,
it's
good.
I have people that have been to these places 1,000 times, and then I'm going to ask them, and we're having Christmas in July. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be great.
That's the week.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm sorry that I blathered on a little bit. I know sometimes I get a little excitable, but I do appreciate you asking.
It was great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again to Nicole for sharing her experience of going to European holiday markets. It sounds so much fun, and honestly, I really want Nicole to be my tour guide for one of them. Thank you for listening. I hope these episodes inspire you to get out and roam, even in your own neighborhood. Please subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and if you like what we're doing here, please leave a review and rating. Also, to help support us, please head to yeti2shop.com to pick up some Roaming Yeti merch. Talk to you soon, and keep roaming.